All right, man, peace. So, brothers, this is going to be the latest entry into the series Miami, aka Money is a Major Issue. And this is going to be the family edition. I've touched on this topic in videos in the past, especially with the Judge Mathis show. We have to understand that whenever you involve money or currency, that's going to totally alter, change, maybe even destroy the rapport or the relationship that you have with someone else. In my view, just my perspective, we should always proceed with caution whenever deciding that we're going to cross or destroy any type of boundary that exists between ourselves and a family member or ourselves and a friend when it comes to starting a business or giving out a loan. Please grasp, and once again, just my opinion, you should only loan money that you can afford to lose. And you can use that loan as a proverbial litmus test for the caliber of person that you're dealing with, whether it be a so-called friend or family member. Very rarely in life do we get a chance to test and see exactly what caliber of person we're dealing with, whether it be a cousin, a sister, a brother, an uncle, or a so-called best friend. You have people who've been so-called best friends for 15, 20, 25 years. And just based on one loan or one exchange of money, you're finally able to discern something about that other person that you probably should have seen the whole time, never recognized or acknowledged, and now you see so clearly that the relationship can no longer maintain. That's why I always state, never lend money that you cannot afford to lose. It's going to place you in a very precarious situation, and you never know how things might spin out of control. There may be a crime that gets committed. Someone might end up killing the other person over money that gets lent, and you could not afford to lose it. So always remember, loyalty is great. It's great. But very rarely is loyalty reciprocated. Very rarely is decorum reciprocated. Very rarely is respect reciprocated. And very rarely is gratefulness reciprocated. There are very few grateful people in this society. That's why so many people are in such a bad stead or such a bad state, because they're unfucking grateful. So recognize all of those things before you decide that you're going to go to your bank account where you only got $54 in there and lend your homeboy $53 because he claims that he has to pay his light bill. Please keep that in mind. If it's the first time that you're doing something like that, please keep that in mind, that he may not give you that money back, or he might come with some type of excuse, or he might try to shit on you. People change, especially involving money. So that brings us to this court case right here involving Mr. Nathaniel Matthews and his niece. Of course, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Matthews abused drugs and alcohol for years, and his addiction nearly killed him. But 8 years ago, God helped him clean up his act, and he's been sober ever since. Nathaniel is suing his niece because he loaned her $200 and she agreed to repay him $300, but he has yet to see a dime.
Now, unfortunately for Mr. Nathaniel Matthews, and let me also state this, and I'm sure that I've stated this in other videos in the past pertaining to this topic, when you decide that you're going to lend someone money, you should always have a contract configured so that it's in writing or some type of electronic exchange, particularly a text message or an email, so that you have proof that you lent this person the money in case you want to enforce the loan. Not even necessarily because you need the money back, just because you might want to teach that person a lesson. Of course, it's far easier to prove because people get into courtrooms and they start lying. And the next thing you know, they get away with the lie. And now you're so enraged that you want to get revenge by hurting or even killing that person. Now you end up in prison for a deed that you meant to be, some form of generosity or a sign of friendship. And you don't want your life to spin out of control in that way.
Defendant Tashana Matthews says she had nothing but love for her uncle.
Oh, cute little hood rat.
Until he decided to sue her. Tashana claims since the incident in question, Nathaniel has been coming by her house and harassing her. And she insists Nathaniel is suing for more than she owes.
Start with you.
Well, I'm an ex-drug addict, alcoholic, drunk. I was messed.
Burglar, thief, bank robber, chain snatcher. I even stole the subway train a few times, Yana. You name it, I've done it.
Good. Glad you said X. Good. How did you recover?
I
haven't. I smoked a rock right before I came out here today.
Rehab, and I had made it for like 7.5 months, but I had started enjoying it. I had a party for my wife. I started drinking, started back drugging. So I knew.
Probably had a party to celebrate how long he'd been sober and started drinking and smoking at the damn party.
I had to stop was to ask God. So I was walking down the street, I asked God, and I've been sober for 8 years, 5 months, and 21 days.
A brother like that has to be careful what type of scriptures he read. Because if he come across that verse that tells us that the Most High is our rock and our refuge, his brain might go in a whole other direction. Did somebody say something about a rock?
Go to NA or anything?
I go to NA. Well, before this COVID came, I went in the morning and nights.
There you go.
You know, I'd have been to the Rural Convention down in Florida. I've been to Detroit to the convention, St. Louis.
Good.
You know, I try to help others by showing them me, because they knew me when I was a bum. You know, I was worthless. I went nothing. I was killing myself. And in a heartbeat, if somebody owed me, I'd tear the car up. I mean, I did it, and I end up in the nut house. So I really have changed. You know.
Yeah, if you were severely addicted, as you say. And secondly, I'm glad you're telling people you eat twice a day. You confirmed.
In order for him to do something like that, though, he had to humble himself. So that's really what he deserves credit for. That's the biggest step, is being able to walk into a meeting like that and acknowledge that you have a problem. Most people do not ever want to acknowledge that they have a problem with something, especially when it comes to an addiction.
You confirm the advice that I constantly give. When you first in the rehab, you gotta go a couple times a day to NA, sometimes, but at the very least once.
Yeah. How many times you smoke that rock per day is the amount of times you gotta go to that class per day. So obviously you were smoking rock twice a day.
So congratulations. That's a big part of your motivation. You were touched by the Spirit. And secondly, the Spirit obviously directed you to how to sustain your recovery.
Yes, sir.
Through going to NA. So I'm glad you're here to let folks know it is nearly impossible to recover from a drug addiction without going to NA. I haven't heard of many people. Have you?
No.
All right, and what's your life like now in the last 8 years?
I didn't remarry, and I've been enjoying life. I go to church occasionally, but you know, this COVID has stopped that. But I was going like every Sunday. I make sure I go to worship. You know, just
is that what you're going? Is that what all y'all gonna tell St. Peter when you get up there?
Nah, I know I gotta get better.
Everybody go up there and get to St. Peter the Judgment Day, and he say, "Hi, were you a good Christian? Did you go to church and pay your time?" Well, COVID, St. Peter. Yeah, St. Peter go throw.
Brothers, please keep in mind that in the Christian church or the Catholic church, when they speak about Peter having the keys, they're talking about Janus. They're not talking about the Peter of the Bible. The image of Peter, or the sculpture of Peter that exists in Vatican City, represents Janus or Ptah. That's their version of Peter. Once again, it's Ptah or Ptah-men, also known as Pan or the goat.
I pay my tithes every Sunday. I mean, every month. I make sure I pay tithes to my dad. Church minister too.
You say St. Peter gonna be tired of hearing that.
As most of you brothers who read the scriptures already know, the Peter of the scriptures was known as Cephas. That was his actual Aramaic name.
Yeah, you gonna have Satan next to him. You talking? I'm trying. Anybody got COVID? Line up and tell your lie to Satan over here. I'm only taking the honest ones. All right, sir. I'm so happy to hear about your recovery. Though, what field you work in?
I work in rock disposal. I work at a construction site. I work in rock moving. Every day I go to work and I feel like smoking crack.
No more. I'm diabetic, and so they put me on disability.
Okay.
You know, I'm a permanent, you know.
Okay.
I got diabetes and asthma, and my hand chopped off, it's crooked, I can't work.
Your hand chopped off? Brother, it looked like you have a hand to me. You got two of them.
Hit with a machete and been shot twice.
Where you get all that jury from?
Saved it.
Uh-oh. Wrong answer. Go ahead.
That's the wrong answer. Sound like something a crack dealer would say. Let's go to the defendant.
Go ahead. Let me hear from you. I'm going to leave you alone. That was the wrong answer, though. Yes, ma'am. Let me hear from you.
Well, my name is Tashiana Matthews. I'm here today with my uncle, Nathaniel Matthews. Nothing but love since the lawsuit came upon. In between there, he became really aggressive, started harassing me.
Really aggressive? The man just wanted his money. You're dealing with a former crackhead. You're lucky he didn't come at you with a damn machete.
Was coming to my house.
About the money?
Yes, begging on my door.
Okay.
The reason why he got like that is because he knows when someone wants to pay you back, they pay you back. When they don't want to pay you back, they start coming up with all type of excuses and making themselves unavailable. That's why he got aggressive.
And what are you doing with yourself?
I'm a CNA. I work at a nursing home.
Okay.
That's code for she takes care of old people during the day and at night she strips. Allegedly.
There for about 3 months now. So that's what I've done.
And you working on your nursing degree
Absolutely.
or license? Good.
Yes.
Congratulations. And you can also...
That broad ain't licensed. She works at the Ramrod. Sliding up and down poles. She works at Club Ramrod. Get the fuck out of here.
It's $300 if you owe it. Let's see. You tell me whether she owes it or not. You sue it up to $300.
Well, she had came to me, I had pulled up on the street, and she jumped out.
How long ago?
It was like October.
Okay, of 19?
Yeah.
Put up on the
yeah.
street, you say?
Yeah.
What you got? What kind of car you got?
I got a car.
No, I want to know what type of car does he have?
I got a 68 Cadillac. Totally refurbished. Picks up all kind of bitches, including your wife.
Got a fine Cadillac.
Of course, brothers his age always want the caddy.
Go ahead. What up?
So she told me that the lights was finna get cut off, and can I give her loan her $200?
That's when you should have said no, but I can give you $10 to go buy yourself a flashlight, because that's what you're going to be using until next month.
And so we agreed, she gave me her bank card, and we agreed that on the 11th, she would pay me back.
All right.
And I went to my car and I called my wife, and she said, yeah, she good. Oh, you ain't got to worry about her. Go on and give it to her. And so I did. And then on the 11th, I had asked her about it, and she said she didn't have it right now. And I said, well, how you get the money out the bank? She canceled this card and got another one.
Yeah, running a scam on you. Probably the same type of scam she runs on her exes or her baby daddy.
All right.
So, you know, it is what it is. So I was like, just pay me back. You know, let me get my money. So she told me the 8th. She texted me. And these texts I got for you.
What page are you looking at?
On page 1, you know, she was saying that she got me and all that. And then page 25.
Good morning, I can pay you the next time.
Yeah. And then page 25, she was explaining that she was going to borrow it maybe.
Borrow it to pay you? Okay.
Yeah.
Then that person won't get paid, end up in here. Never twice.
So then she turned around and on 22, and you know, she was letting me know she didn't have it.
All right. Now, first of all, let me let you know I'm just kidding with you, and then the viewers know that I'm not signifying that he's anything other than a guy who likes jewelry. I like jewelry myself. Some of you all, if you see me off the bench, you might see me with a couple of necklaces on. And
sometimes I wear 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gold chains. Made me feel like a rapper, you know. Helped me pick up young bitches.
I just want to let the audience know, because there's a stereotype, and I'm playing into that stereotype by saying, "Oh, what you doing? You got jewelry on? You must be this. You must be that." I want jewelry too. I ain't no dope man.
When you quit smoking crack, you can have some.
Same.
Exactly.
I'm being honest with you. Crack take everything, every ounce.
And so, you look good, look nice, and crackheads, you too can look nice. If you recover, get 8 years.
Hey, yo, Judge Mathis bet not never get caught smoking crack, man. Yo, if I ever see on the Channel 2 news, it'd be like, news at 11. Famous television judge Gregory Mathis caught in a crack house in Detroit. If I ever see that shit, I'm going to do a 20-part series on that shit.
And then you can come in here tripping. All right. Go ahead.
Judge Mathis be there smoking crack with hoes right next to Marion Barry.
What you want to tell me about the loan, young lady?
Allegedly, of course.
I initially asked my father, can I get the $200 from him? He went on to go ask your Uncle Bebe, because he's there.
That's what they call you, Bebe.
My Uncle Bebe, yes. I love him regardless.
Go ahead.
And I asked my dad, and he asked me to ask Uncle Bebe. So I'm like, oh, Dad, everybody know in the family how he is about his money.
Yeah, everybody knows in the family how he is about his money. In other words, he's not going to allow himself to get treated like a fucking ATM machine. Once again, people for the most part are very ungrateful. You have to make sure that you police them and that you enforce your own level of gratefulness from them, or they'll try to get over on you. How the hell is she gonna say everybody knows in the family how he is about his money? It's his money. He could be how he wants to with it.
I get that part, so I'm like, oh, Dad, you gotta pay him back, Ooh, and then it went on from there. I did agree to give him back the money. I'm not denying that I didn't. I agreed to.
So why we here? You not getting enough singles on the pole? Because you ain't going to get me to believe that you just working at a fucking old folks home. Not looking like this. You have stripper written all over you.
200, he loans, and then he asked interest. I didn't want to pay interest. I didn't want to pay him anymore because he began to harass me.
He most likely asked for interest because his ragamuffin ass family is always asking him for money. So he says, if I'm going to keep giving you broke niggas money, y'all are going to have to start giving me interest back. Now, the problem comes in, especially with street dudes, their level of interest is like 50% or 100%. That's where the problems come in. They start loan sharking. But it's very obvious to me that the reason why he's decided to charge interest to his family members is because he's accustomed to their sense of entitlement and lack of gratefulness for the fact that he's relatively responsible with his money and they're not.
One day I pulled up at home from work and we were arguing in front of my yard in front of everybody and the neighbors.
Now, why would you guys be arguing in your front lawn about his money when you've already acknowledged that you owe him? I'm sure that he knows when you get paid. If he knows when you get paid, then you know when you should be paying him.
It just became on. He was harassing my mom, going to my mom, he'd see my brother, tell my brother, he'd see my sister, tell my sister, and then it was just like, it was starting to get out of hand. So
No, it was not getting out of hand. It wasn't getting out of hand at all. He wants his money back. The money that you owe him, you probably used on your fake press-on nails or your fake eyelashes or your hair weave or whatever the hell you were doing. And that's what people do when they want to borrow money from you, but they're not grateful. They decide that they're going to try to go back to their regular life knowing that they owe you something. That's how people fall out in the first place. And the level of humility that they had when they asked you for the money, they don't show once they get it and they've been able to apply it.
He didn't know any different. That's how they did him when he owed money all them years. And he owed every day. When he was smoking, he owed money every day.
To everybody. That nigga owed the whole block.
And he was on the run every day.
Every day, on the run, barefoot, in the snow.
So that's all he knows to do when money is owed.
Yeah.
That's all he knows to do.
So I'm not denying, but at that point, I was just like, I'm staying away from him. He crazy.
He ain't crazy. He just wanted money.
Sounds like it was 200. How do we get 300?
Because she agreed to pay me 300. She said, you give me the 200, I'm going to give you 300.
Over the what course of time?
She supposed to have paid me back on the 11.
You want to go to jail. That's usury, which is illegal. That's loan sharking. You can't charge a person that much interest.
Now, as most of you brothers who read the scriptures know, usury is also forbidden in the Bible. Except usury in the Bible exists between fellow Israelites. If you loan a brother money, you're not supposed to charge him any interest at all. If a cat says, I need $15, either you can afford to lend it to him or you can't. But whatever you lend, it has to be the amount that he asked for, and he has to pay back the amount that he borrowed. You're not allowed to say, I'm going to lend you $15 and you're going to give me back $15.01. That's usury in the scriptures. You're not allowed to do that. And of course, that law applies to Israelites. That's in the Torah.
That's interest you're charging. Anything on top of a debt that you have to pay back is interest.
I don't know what it is, but I know this. If you tell me you're going to give me $300, I expect $300. If you say you're going to give me back $1, I expect $1. It's whatever you say you giving me.
Yeah, that's when you're gambling. Y'all wasn't gambling. You was loaning. Go, let me hear from you on this extra 100. Did you agree to pay him the extra 100?
I agreed to pay him 200. Like I said,
Stop lying. You agreed to pay him 300. You was desperate.
he asked interest when he loans. I didn't want to pay the interest. I agreed 200.
And there was no interest agreed to in the beginning?
No.
At all?
No.
Not like some, but not 100?
Well, yes.
In other words, you was lying for the last 2 minutes. Right there, the judge is supposed to render the verdict for the plaintiff.
I agree. When I agreed, but I didn't want to pay the interest. That was too much.
2 times, I'll give you 15% interest, sir. The highest interest you can get. 200, 15% of 200.
230. 15% of 100 is 115, so times 2 is 230. Come on, Judge Mathis.
All right. 230 is your judgment. I did give you some interest there. Good luck to you. Continue spreading the word of recovery to other folks. That's your responsibility and that's your duty. Proud of you, man. I'm proud of the things you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Would you happen to know where I can get a nice big old rock to smoke?
And keep up the good work as well. Have a good day.
Hey, I love you, baby.
I love you too.
He'll love you more when you just give him back his damn money. But anyway, peace.